Hello, you. Yes, you there, looking at this screen, perhaps in yet another of those infinite scrolls to postpone the simplest decision of your day, where to begin. You feel that familiar weight, that mental fog where every task, no matter how small, seems to merge with the next, creating a solid wall of should, need to, and tomorrow. And the result is a paralysis as silent as it is draining. You are not procrastinating out of laziness. You are overwhelmed before you even start. What if I told you there is a way to plan your day that doesn't begin with endless lists, but with a simple, profound act of kindness? Stay with me, because what we're going to explore today isn't just about managing time, it's about reclaiming peace. And at the end, I will reveal the fifth and most transformative step, a practice that will completely change the relationship between your anxious mind and the clock. If you're seeking productivity with soul, you are in the right place. And for those just arriving, this is a safe space for self-knowledge and gentle productivity. If you identify with this, consider subscribing and hitting the bell. It's a way of telling this algorithm that conversations like this one are important. Let's imagine for a moment that your mind, in these states of anxiety, is not a planning tool. It's a tumultuous meeting room. All your different selves are shouting at once. The self that fears failure, the self that remembers past deadlines, the perfectionist self that paralyzes at the first misstep, the exhausted self that just wants to rest. Trying to plan the day in the middle of this chaos is like trying to hear a soft melody at a rock concert. It's impossible. So, the first move is not to plan. It is to silence the room. This is what many call a brain dump, but let's call it the sacred purge. You take a piece of paper, any paper, and you simply let everything pour out. Not tasks, but thoughts. Right, I'm afraid I won't finish the report. I need to call the doctor, and that gives me anxiety. The house is a mess, and it disorganizes me from the inside. You take the weight from the ether and place it in the concrete. The page now holds your whirlwind. And magically, the mind, seeing itself emptied, breathes. It's a physical relief. You feel your shoulders drop. This is not organization. It is liberation. It is creating space for air to circulate again. With this page before you, the chaos gains contour. And this is where most people make the mistake that perpetuates paralysis. They look at that list and try to attack everything at once. Anxiety loves everything, but peace resides in one thing. So, within that purge, you will look not for the most urgent tasks, but for the heaviest ones, which are the 2 or 3 items that, if resolved, would make the next day significantly lighter. Don't think about the world's importance. Think about relief for your nervous system. Maybe it's just making that difficult phone call, or cleaning the work desk, or sketching the first page of that project. These are your foundation stones. The rest is gravel, and the gravel can wait, or it can be swept away with much less effort after the stones are in place. By naming these 2 or 3 stones, you are not creating a to-do list. You are drawing a navigation map for a less frightening day. Now, with your map in hand, comes one of the most neglected secrets, the ritualization of the start. Paralysis often lives in the empty space between intention and action. So let's build a bridge. For each of these foundation stones, you will define not just the what, but the how, in a ridiculously specific and easy way. Instead of work on the project, it will be sit in the chair, open the document, write 3 sentences of the introduction. You heard right. 3 sentences. The magic is in the disarming simplicity. When the barrier to starting is so low it borders on insignificance, you disarm anxiety's defense mechanism, which thrives on exaggerating difficulties. You are not committing to the marathon. You are only committing to tying your shoelaces. And almost always, upon tying your shoelaces, you find you are willing to take the first lap around the block. And then another movement, however small, breaks the spell of immobility. This is the antidote to overthinking, microscopic, undeniable action. And it is here, after we have emptied the mind, identified the essential, and built bridges to begin, that the story gains its true dimension. It is no longer just about techniques, but about a change of world. Have you heard of the burden of flexibility? Our modern anxiety is fueled by a myth that with the whole day free, we can do everything perfectly. This open window of time is, in reality, an abyss that consumes us. That's why the fifth step is not about putting more things in your schedule. It is about placing the schedule itself within firm and loving boundaries. I call this end-to-end planning. And it works like this. Instead of starting your planning by asking, "What am I going to do today?" you start by asking, "How do I want to feel when this day ends?" Do you want to feel at peace, light, with a sense of completeness? Now look at your foundation stones. And here is the key. You will schedule not only the task, but its end. You will block in your calendar, for example, from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. for the first stone. And at 10:01 a.m. it ends. Period. End. You schedule the stop time with the same solemnity as you schedule the start. What does this do? It creates a finite container for your anxiety. The anxious mind loses the power to say, "This has to be perfect and could take all day," because it knows that at 10:01 there will be a limit. This transforms time from an abstract, frightening enemy into a concrete, safe ally. It is a profound act of self-compassion. You are telling your mind, "You don't have to carry this forever. I give you a safe, delimited space to deal with it, and then you rest." Productivity ceases to be an open race and becomes a series of short, deep dives, followed by surfacing to breathe. This is the final frontier between paralysis and peace. You trade the tyranny of one day for the dignity of today until here. When you apply this, something fundamental changes. You stop being a fighter at war with time and your own expectations, and you become an architect of days that have clear beginnings, middles, and ends. The feeling at the end is not exhaustion from having done everything, but integrity from having honored your limits. You broke the cycle because you replaced the question, "What else should I be doing?" with the affirmation, "For now, this is enough." And in this enough resides a different, more human, more sustainable productivity. It is the productivity that doesn't apologize for existing within a being that also feels tired, fearful, and in need of peace. If this conversation touched something within you and you want to explore how to build a kinder relationship with your own ambition, I suggest you check out our video on the art of gentle productivity. There, we dive deeper into this philosophy of doing things not out of dread of failure, but out of love for what matters. Remember, planning the day is not about controlling every minute. It is about creating corners of safety within time, so your anxious mind can finally rest